The phone rang, shattering the quiet hum of Olivia's kitchen. She stood frozen, her fingers tightening around a mug of coffee, the steam curling up like a warning. It was December in suburban Chicago, 2025, and the air outside carried the sharp bite of winter. Inside, though, her home was warm, filled with the faint scent of cinnamon and the distant giggles of her kids. Sophie, 7, and Liam, 4, playing in the living room. Olivia, 38, glanced at the caller ID. Mom. Her heart lifted for a moment. Expecting a cozy chat about Christmas plans. She answered, her voice bright. Hey, Mom, what's up? But the pause on the other end was just long enough to make her stomach twist. Olivia, honey, her mother, Margaret, said, her tone oddly formal. We need to talk about the Christmas party this year. Olivia leaned against the counter, picturing her parents' sprawling house in Naperville, decked out with twinkling lights and a towering pine tree. Christmas at her parents' was a tradition she cherished, despite the undercurrent of tension that always seemed to linger. Her kids adored their grandparents, Margaret and Henry, even if the affection often felt uneven. Sure, what's the plan? Olivia asked, already imagining Sophie and Liam's excitement over the holiday chaos. Margaret cleared her throat. Well, we're doing things a bit differently this year. It's going to be curated. You know, more focused on the twins' needs. Olivia frowned. The twins, James and Emma, were her older brother Michael's kids. The golden grandchildren in her parents' eyes. Curated? Olivia repeated, a chill creeping into her voice. What does that mean? Are you making it kid-friendly for Sophie and Liam? Another pause. Heavier this time. Not exactly, Margaret said, her voice dipping into something almost apologetic. We think it's best if you and the kids celebrate separately this year. Olivia's grip on the mug tightened, the ceramic burning her palm. Separately, she echoed, her mind racing. Why? Margaret sighed, as if Olivia were the one making this difficult. Sophie and Liam, they're lively, you know, not like James and Emma. The twins are so well-mannered, so refined. It's just easier to have them at the table. The words hit Olivia like a slap. Sharp and stinging. Her kids, her sweet, energetic Sophie and her curious, bubbly Liam, were being cast aside as if they were defective. They're kids, Mom, Olivia said, her voice trembling with barely contained fury. Sophie's 7, Liam's 4. They're not perfect, but they love you. And you're saying they're not welcome? It's not personal, Olivia, Margaret replied, her tone clipped now. Irritated. We just want a meaningful Christmas. Olivia's breath caught, her heart pounding. Not personal? This was as personal as it got. For years, she'd swallowed the subtle favoritism. Michael's family always got the spotlight. Her parents never missed James and Emma's soccer games. But they forgot Sophie's ballet recitals. Christmas gifts for the twins were always flashier, more expensive, and now, they weren't even hiding it. So, Michael and his family are invited. But we're not? Olivia asked, her voice tight. Margaret hesitated, then admitted, yes, Michael, Laura, and the twins will be there. The floor seemed to drop out from under Olivia. She steadied herself against the counter, her knuckles white. You're actually saying my kids aren't good enough for your party. But Michael's are. Margaret sighed again, exasperated. Don't be so dramatic, Olivia. It's just one party. We can meet another time. Olivia's jaw clenched, holding back the sharp words clawing at her throat. Just one party? No. This was a line drawn in the sand. A clear message that her children, the two people she loved most in the world, were second class in her parents' eyes. No, Mom, she said, her voice low and resolute. If my kids and I aren't welcome, we're done. Don't expect to see us again. There was a long silence. Then Margaret exhaled sharply. Suit yourself, she said, and hung up. Olivia stood there, staring at the phone, her breath unsteady. In the living room, Sophie's laughter rang out as she and Liam toppled a pillow fort, oblivious to the betrayal that had just unfolded. Olivia's chest tightened. Her kids deserved better than this. She'd spent her whole life chasing her parents' approval, bending over backward to be the good daughter. But at what cost? If she let this slide, What kind of mother would she be? She squared her shoulders and walked into the living room, forcing a smile. All right, you two troublemakers, she called, her voice steadier than she felt. Who's up for movie night? Liam's eyes lit up. The one with the talking dog? He squealed. Olivia scooped him up, kissing his soft curls. You got it, buddy. But as they curled up on the couch, the anger inside her simmered. She was done playing by her parents' rules. Done trying to fit into their world where she and her kids were always less than. They'd made their choice. Now it was her turn. The next morning, a text from Michael lit up her phone. Mom says you're ruining Christmas. Why do you always have to be so dramatic? Olivia's jaw tightened. Of course. Margaret had already spun the story to make her the villain. She typed back. She uninvited me and my kids. But your twins are welcome. Funny how that works. The typing bubbles appeared, then vanished. Minutes later, he replied. She just wants a calm, educational vibe. Your kids aren't exactly model citizens. Liv. The words cut deep, but they also lit a fire. Enjoy your perfect Christmas, Michael. She shot back. I won't be there. She turned off her phone before he could respond. For years, Olivia had been the reliable one, picking up groceries for her parents, fixing their Wi-Fi, organizing family events while Michael coasted as the golden child. But if they didn't want her or her kids at their precious Christmas table, they wouldn't get her help anymore. She started small, ignoring Henry's call about setting up his new smart TV, leaving Margaret's text about picking up her prescription unread. By Christmas week, she'd dodged a dozen calls and 6 texts. They noticed. All right, but Olivia was just getting started. Then, a week before Christmas, the real bombshell dropped. Olivia was sipping coffee, scrolling through emails, when a credit card alert caught her eye, a $500 charge she didn't recognize. Frowning, she logged into her account and froze. For months, her balance had been creeping up, $150 here, $200 there. The latest? A luxury massage chair, delivered to her parents' address. Her blood ran cold. 6 months ago, when Henry retired and money was tight, Olivia had added them as authorized users on her credit card to help them through. She'd meant to remove them, but life got busy, and she forgot. Now, they'd been siphoning her money without a word. She called Margaret, her hands shaking. Can you explain why there's a massage chair on my credit card? Margaret scoffed. Oh, Olivia, don't be dramatic. It's just a card. You make good money. Olivia's face burned. You were just going to keep using my money? Did you think I wouldn't notice? Margaret's tone turned patronizing. We raised you, Olivia. The least you can do is help us in retirement. Olivia's breath hitched, rage boiling over. Help you? After you said my kids weren't good enough for your Christmas? You've got to be kidding me. Margaret sighed, as if Olivia were the unreasonable one. This is why we avoid these conversations with you. You always overreact. That was it. Olivia's voice dropped, dangerously calm. You're right about one thing. I'm done. I've cancelled the card, and you'll never see another cent from me. You made your choice when you said my kids weren't welcome. Now I'm making mine. Margaret gasped. You'll regret this. But Olivia hung up, her heart pounding but her resolve ironclad. She turned to see her husband, David, watching her from the doorway. Everything okay? He asked. She forced a smile. Yeah, just taking out the trash. Christmas Eve was pure magic. No rushing to dress the kids in stiff holiday clothes. No stress over impressing her parents. Just Sophie and Liam in pajamas, decorating cookies and hanging ornaments. Their laughter filling the house. But then the doorbell rang. Olivia's stomach dropped. Through the peephole, she saw Margaret and Henry, holding a giant gift box. She opened the door, arms crossed. What do you want? Margaret's smile was forced. Merry Christmas, sweetheart. This is for the kids, educational toys. Olivia didn't budge. No thanks. Margaret's smile faltered. Olivia, don't ruin Christmas over this. Olivia's voice shook with anger. You ruined it when you said my kids weren't good enough. Take your gift and go. Henry's jaw tightened. You're making a mistake. But Olivia shut the door, her heart racing but her spirit lighter than ever. New Year's Eve brought the final showdown. As Olivia set up a snack table, Sophie and Liam ran around in party hats, counting down to midnight. Then, another knock. David raised an eyebrow. No way. Olivia opened the door to find not just Margaret and Henry, but Michael and his wife, Laura. An ambush. We just want to talk, Margaret said, her smile saccharine. Olivia crossed her arms. No thanks. Henry's voice was stern. Enough. Olivia, you've made your point. Let's fix this. But then Margaret dropped the bomb. We're worried about the kids' development. We've been talking to a lawyer about grandparents' rights. Olivia laughed, loud and sharp. You're serious? You steal from me, call my kids defective, and now you think you can force your way into their lives? Michael stepped forward, defensive. They didn't mean it like that. Olivia's eyes blazed. They said it. Michael. She pulled out her phone. I've got every text, every voicemail, every demand for money. If you try this, I'll file a civil lawsuit for your credit card fraud and get a restraining order. Test me. Silence. Margaret's face twisted in anger. But for the first time, they looked unsure. Happy New Year, Olivia said sweetly, slamming the door. Months later, a call came from an unfamiliar number. It was Michael, his voice broken. We've lost everything, he said. The house, the car, because of your lawsuit. Olivia's heart skipped. She hadn't filed criminal charges, but her civil suit's evidence had sparked a felony fraud case. Over $250 in fines. Michael said, Mom and Dad lost their house. They're in a cheap apartment. I lost my job, my marriage. Audrey took the twins. Olivia was quiet, then asked, do they admit what they did? Michael sighed. They're suffering. Liv, can't you do something? But Olivia was firm. You made your choices. So did they. Spring came, and Olivia sat on her porch, watching Sophie and Liam chase bubbles, their laughter pure and free. David handed her a lemonade. Sitting beside her, it's been quiet, he said. She nodded, sipping her drink. Feels good. He smirked. Do you care about them? Olivia watched her kids, their joy lighting up the world. Doesn't matter, she said. I've got my family, and I'll never let anyone make them feel less than again. It was a frosty December evening in Evanston, Illinois, 2025, and Olivia Harper, 38, stood in her cozy kitchen, the glow of Christmas lights filtering through the window. The scent of gingerbread lingered from the cookies her kids, Sophie, 7, and Liam, 4, had baked earlier, their laughter still echoing from the living room where they were tangled in a mess of tinsel. Olivia's phone buzzed, snapping her out of her reverie. The screen read Mom. Her heart skipped, expecting a warm chat about the family's Christmas plans. But when she answered, her mother Margaret's voice was cold, calculated. Olivia, we need to talk about the Christmas party, Margaret said, pausing just long enough to make Olivia's stomach churn. What followed would unravel years of buried resentment and ignite a battle Olivia never saw coming. We're doing something different this year, Margaret continued, her tone laced with condescension. A more refined gathering, tailored to James and Emma's educational needs. James and Emma were the twins of Olivia's older brother, Michael, the untouchable golden child in their parents' eyes. Olivia frowned, her fingers tightening around the phone. Refined? Are you saying Sophie and Liam aren't invited? Another pause. Heavier, suffocating. It's best if you celebrate separately this year, Margaret said. Your kids are spirited. Olivia, not like the twins. They're calm, well-behaved. It's just easier with them. The words sliced through Olivia like a winter wind. Her kids, her vibrant, curious Sophie and her goofy, loving Liam, were being dismissed as if they were flawed. They're kids, Mom, Olivia said, her voice trembling with rage. Sophie's 7, Liam's 4. They're not perfect, but they adore you. And you're saying they're not good enough for your party? Margaret sighed, as if Olivia were the one being unreasonable. It's not personal. We just want a meaningful Christmas. But it was personal. For years, Margaret and Henry had favored Michael's family, showing up to the twins' piano recitals but skipping Sophie's dance performances. Showering James and Emma with extravagant gifts while Sophie and Liam got hand-me-downs. Now, they were drawing a line in the snow. Michael's family was welcome. Olivia's was not. Olivia's voice hardened. So, Michael, Laura, and the twins get to come. But my kids don't? Margaret's silence was confirmation enough. Don't make this dramatic, Olivia, she finally said. It's just one party. But it wasn't just a party. It was a betrayal. A public declaration that Olivia and her children were second class. No, Mom, Olivia said, her voice steady despite the storm inside. If my kids aren't welcome, neither am I, and don't expect to see us again. Margaret scoffed. You're being ridiculous. Then the line went dead. Olivia stood frozen, the phone still pressed to her ear. As Sophie's giggle floated in from the living room. Her kids were building a blanket fort. Oblivious to the fact that their grandparents had just rejected them. Olivia's heart ached. But something else burned brighter. Resolve. She'd spent her life chasing her parents' approval. Always the dutiful daughter. But no more. If they didn't value her kids, they didn't value her. And she was done begging for scraps. The next blow came a week before Christmas. Olivia was sorting through emails when a credit card alert popped up. A $600 charge she didn't recognize. Her heart sank as she logged into her account. For months, small charges had crept up. $100, $200, $300. Then, the kicker. A luxury massage chair. Delivered to her parents' Naperville address. Olivia's blood ran cold. 6 months ago, when Henry retired and money was tight, she'd added them as authorized users on her card to help out. She'd meant to remove them. But with 2 kids and a full-time job, it slipped her mind. Now, they'd been draining her account without a word. She called Margaret, her voice shaking. Why is there a massage chair on my credit card? Margaret laughed, dismissive. Oh, Olivia, it's just a card. You can afford it. Olivia's face burned. You used my money without asking? While telling me my kids aren't good enough for your table? Margaret's tone turned icy. We raised you. Olivia, you owe us this much. The audacity hit like a punch. Owe you? Olivia snapped. You've been stealing from me. And you think I owe you? Margaret sighed, patronizing. You always overreact. Olivia's voice dropped, deadly calm. I've cancelled the card. You'll never see another dime from me. You made your choice when you said my kids weren't welcome. Now I'm making mine. She hung up, her hands trembling but her heart resolute. But Margaret and Henry weren't done. A week before Christmas, a letter arrived at Olivia's house. Her husband, David, handed it to her, his brow furrowed. It's from your parents. Olivia tore it open, her stomach knotting. Inside was a formal document, itemizing expenses from her childhood, food, clothes, school supplies, even college tuition, totaling $78.542. They were demanding repayment for raising her. A blatant attempt to guilt and control her. Olivia laughed. A sharp, disbelieving sound. They're billing me for being their kid? David scanned the letter, his jaw tightening. This is insane. The manipulation didn't stop there. On New Year's Eve, as Olivia set up a festive snack table and watched Sophie and Liam dance in their party hats, the doorbell rang. David muttered, "No way." Through the peephole, Olivia saw Margaret, Henry, Michael, and his wife, Laura, in ambush. She opened the door, arms crossed. What do you want? Margaret's smile was forced. Saccharine, we just want to talk. Henry held up a gift box. For the kids. Educational toys. Olivia didn't budge. No thanks. Margaret's smile faltered. Don't ruin the holidays, Olivia. But then came the real threat. We're worried about Sophie and Liam's development, Margaret said, her eyes gleaming with false concern. We've spoken to a lawyer about grandparents' rights. Olivia's laugh was loud, unhinged. You're serious? You steal from me, call my kids defective, and now you think you can force your way into their lives? Michael stepped forward, defensive. They didn't mean it like that. Olivia's eyes blazed. They said it, Michael. She pulled out her phone. I've got every text, every voicemail, every demand for money. If you try this, I'll file a civil lawsuit for your fraud and get a restraining order. Go ahead, test me. Silence fell, heavy and tense. For the first time, they looked uncertain. Happy New Year, Olivia said, slamming the door. The consequences came swiftly. Olivia didn't file criminal charges. But her civil lawsuit's evidence, texts, voicemails, and credit card statements, sparked a felony fraud case against Margaret, Henry, and Michael. By spring, Michael called from a friend's phone. His voice broken. "We've lost everything," he said. "The house, the car, my marriage. Mom and Dad are in a cheap apartment. Their pension eaten up by $250 in fines. I'm a night security guard." And Laura took the twins. Olivia's heart wavered, but she stayed firm. "Do they admit what they did?" Michael sighed. "They're suffering. Liv, can't you help?" But Olivia was done. "You made your choices," she said. So did they. Months later, on a sunny April afternoon, Olivia sat on her porch, watching Sophie and Liam chase bubbles across the yard, their laughter bright and free. David handed her a lemonade. Sitting beside her, "It's been quiet," he said, a knowing smile on his lips. Olivia nodded, sipping her drink. "Feels good." He glanced at her. "Do you miss them?" She watched her kids, their joy lighting up the world. "Doesn't matter," she said. "I've got my family." This was Olivia's victory, not just against her parents' manipulation, but for her kids, for herself. She'd broken free from years of guilt and control, choosing love over obligation, truth over lies. The message was clear. Family isn't about blood or expectations. It's about who shows up, who loves without conditions, and who fights for you. Olivia had fought, and she'd won.